I'm going to have him stand up, and he's going to take, let's say, this is the afflicted part. It's always going to be, if it's one side, we want to do both. We always want to do both. So what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have your athlete stand like this in front of the table. You got to visualize him. Have him visualize this. Take the front thigh, the quadricep, and lay it flat against the table. That's the first starting point right there. So you see right now, his thigh's got to be completely flat on the table. So he needs to bend his knee down, okay? There you go, complete contact. At that point on, it's up to him. So what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have him just either he rises up a little bit using his hands or his opposite knee, depending on at what point it feels tight. And that's how you stretch your hip flexor. You should feel that like from here all the way to the middle of his thigh, middle of the quadricep area. And a lot of people don't do this and they'll stretch their hip flexor. This is why they get a lot of injuries. Okay, so this is something you want to incorporate. Because there's three things you got to have when it comes to this area: flexibility, endurance, and strength. Flexibility means you're going to be able to be limber in order for you to perform your different activities. Endurance, you have to be able to do this not only in the first quarter, but in the fourth quarter or whatever the end of your activity is. You got to be able to maintain that. And strength, you got to be strong enough to do all these things over and over. So that's the key to being successful and not having injuries. Okay? So especially if we played basketball last week, this would be a good thing to also limber up a little bit and get some of that lactic acid out of your system if you haven't done so already. So that's how you do the hip flexor. Any questions? No? Okay. Groin muscles, or the adductor muscles, we showed you before how to test them, right? Now we're going to show you how to stretch them. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't have, everybody does this stretch right here where they go from side to side. To me, that's kind of lame. I think a more specific stretch is I'm going to have them put the inside of the ankle on the top of the table. Actually, no, this way. Come this way. Okay, and he's going to take the inside of the ankle and hop that way just a little bit. So we want to put as little of the ankle area or the leg area on it as possible, leaving the ankle right there. And now he pretty much controls. So the mistake everybody's going to make is they're going to turn their hip out this way, or they're going to turn they're going to turn the hip out instead of having the groin visualize going straight down to the floor. And now what he does, once again, he controls this by how much he bends his opposite knee, real slow. Okay, if he has a lot of flexibility, he can do that. Okay, you start by doing something steady. Okay, but then eventually he can start doing like real slow ups and downs, real slow. When you do that, but don't do it like bouncing. That's the one thing you never want to do in any of these muscle groups. Never, ever bounce. By bounce is doing this stuff, which I see a lot in some of these soccer leagues and some of these people. That's so stupid, it's ridiculous. If you're doing that, you're tearing away at your fibers of your tendon insertion gradually, and eventually it's going to snap on you. In one particular explosive play, it's going to go. So one thing you want to do is you want to do everything steady. You don't want to do anything with bouncing activities. Okay, ballistic movement. Okay, so that's one. Now for the hamstring, what do? You stay right there. All you do is you turn the leg over right here. And a lot of people do the old stupid touch your toe stuff. No, forget the touch your toes. The better thing to do is put your hands on your knee, both hands, and just slide them down to the point where you feel that. Okay? Anybody have any questions on that? What? The air's not working. They're coming to fix it. The helpers are coming in any second here. All four of them. So there's a list and go for it. Okay, so that's for the hamstring. So once again, we've gone hip flexor, hamstring, and hip flexor, hamstring, and groin, adductor muscle. Now, this is something that you need to learn because I said it before. This is what causes a lot of sciatic nerve problems that people do. Have the athlete lay on their back. Okay, and this is stuff they can do. They can do this themselves. But you got to do it properly. Bend the knee to right about here. Ask the individual to grab the outside of the ankle. Like this. Okay? Now, there's a tendency of bending that knee too far down, which doesn't accomplish anything. You have to have it right about right there. So almost emphasize them to